Welcome to another edition of It's Still Real to Me, Zaslow Show 2.0, presented by Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys. 800-747-FREE. That's 800-747-3733. Of course, if you're involved in any type of accident, personal injury, you get an attorney on the phone immediately. Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys. 800-747-3733. My pal is Joey Levine here. What a time to be alive. The world of pro wrestling, another huge week, a sad week, all right, but another huge week in the world of pro wrestling. We'll get to the sad stuff in a moment. We want to pay tributes and talk out the Jay Briscoe stuff. But first, I got to tell you, Joey, I was out last night, Friday night, went out with some friends. My birthday was a few days ago. So we went out.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you.
I didn't even know. What a bad co-host.
Thank you. So I went out. We went to the Improv, Dania Improv, to see my favorite comedian, which is Bryan Callen. So the timing was perfect that he was here this week. So we went and saw Bryan Callen. I've seen him a bunch of times. Just so funny every time. And so I didn't get a chance to watch SmackDown last night. I watched it this morning. What a great ending. What a show. What a great ending to SmackDown yesterday. Did not see it coming. Roman Reigns, all right. He's upset with Shmuley the entire show. And Roman's just sitting there. He's awaiting KO, and KO comes around the back. No entrance, stunner. Roman powerbomb through the table. I mean, when has something like that been happened to Roman Reigns? Like, do you maybe have to go back to trying to remember what show it was? It must have been SummerSlam, right? Like Brock Lesnar probably did something like that to Roman Reigns during that match at SummerSlam, but otherwise, especially not at a big premium live event, for Roman Reigns to be put through a table like that, does that make you think that are you going into next weekend Royal Rumble saying, you know what? KO's got a chance here?
No. Unfortunately, no. I would love to say yes. I would love to say yes. But I don't see any scenario where like they're jeopardizing whatever Mania is. They've built Roman to this point. It would be shocking to me to see them take the titles off of him 2 months ahead of Mania, wouldn't it?
Well, it depends. Okay, if they have a flat out no from The Rock, then anything's possible. Okay, because while I want The Rock to be at WrestleMania, that's the dream. Everybody wants Rock versus Roman. But if Rock is not going to be at WrestleMania, I'm not going to be like crazy disappointed, because that to me really does mean anything and everything is on the table for Roman in WrestleMania.
A lot of people want Rock Roman.
Yeah.
But doesn't it seem like a lot of people want Roman Sammy?
Well, I told you, I think I said this last week. I think Sammy's winning the Rumble.
Right. And you're not the only person. I've gotten that message now from a couple people. Can I tell you what at the end of last night's show made me think?
Yeah.
I think the match at Royal Rumble might be a triple threat.
Yes, I thought that too.
Didn't you? The way they had Sammy, he threw the contract at him, and then at the end of the show, Sammy's just staring at the contract, and he's staring at both of them.
Wasn't that a Cena move? Wasn't Cena the last guy to do that, who signed his name on a contract that he wasn't supposed to be in? I feel like Cena did that a couple years ago.
But couldn't you see not Monday, because Monday is going to be the acknowledgement of the bloodline ceremony, which we will get into, because I think that's going to be fun. But couldn't you see next Friday there being something where Roman's like, I saw the way you were looking at it. You want to be part of this? Here, you sign on it too. And then it becomes like a triple. Like, couldn't you see something like that? Maybe? And then Sammy can still lose that and then still be in the Rumble and win the Rumble, depending on where it is.
Or because KO threw the contract at Sammy. Right. Does Sammy reveal to Roman he signed the contract as well, so that he can protect the tribal chief in the match?
Like something. Yeah. I mean, I could see all of that. It seemed like everything with the bloodline has seemed so deliberate. Like once it reveals itself where they've gone with all their storylines, that it feels like there was a reason for Kevin Owens to throw him the contract and them ending the show with. See, it feels like if there wasn't a reason for it, I'm not sure why it happened that way. It was still a cool moment, but there seems like something was going on there. Especially
because Sammy seemed ready. Look, catching the clipboard, catching a clipboard or, that contract when you don't know it's coming at you, that's not a given. So I'm talking about
their chemistry are so good though.
If someone frisbees a clipboard to me and I'm not expecting it, I'm probably not catching it. All right.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, hey, I'm going to flip you the contract because this is part of the story. And that's why I caught it.
Right. I mean, it's all very possible. The way Heyman was even like kind of gesturing to Sammy, like looking at Heyman was like looking at the contract to make sure he signed it. Like it looked all very planned and like there was something there. So I wouldn't be shocked. So interestingly enough, it seems like I don't think we'll get a ton of people. And I know we're going to talk about the Rumble stuff, like who's in and where we're at with Rumble.
Can somebody sign up for this Women's Royal Rumble? We got like 5 people in it.
We got 6 people. We got 6 women in the Women's Royal Rumble.
No one wants to main event WrestleMania?
Everyone's afraid of Charlotte Flair. But it just feels like that could be the big news of the Go Home SmackDown episode. Like that, I could see them ending it that way, where it's like Sammy wasn't meaning for it to happen that way, but he gets thrown into it because Roman realized like something. Roman throws him in there last second. Sammy's shocked, whatever. I don't know. And then in the triple threat, Roman beats the shit out of him so badly that he enters the Rumble to get his revenge.
Oh my God, that'd be so good. That'd be so good. How good is it, by the way, that Royal Rumble Saturday nights?
Oh,
Sunday pay-per-views die a fast death. Get out of here.
Yeah, man. Can I just say, like, if we weren't a week away from Rumble, I wouldn't be very excited to do today's episode.
I'm very excited.
But this week overall, not a great week of professional wrestling.
This week was a bummer for professional wrestling.
Obviously the Jay Briscoe news just casts a shadow on the whole week. But just
Kevin Nash was making me sad at the beginning of the week too.
Yeah, that was rough. But he did come out and say, guys, everybody take a breather. Don't take away the one coping mechanism I have. It's sarcasm, which still, it was a dark clip that really went around. But in general, like, SmackDown wasn't the greatest SmackDown. Raw wasn't the greatest Raw. AEW was not amazing this week, but we still have Rumble coming up. So it's like there's still excitement here because everything's leading to next weekend.
So like you said, there wasn't a whole lot. I mean, look, 2 shows away from the Royal Rumble, you're kind of in a weird spot, like if you got some good stuff planned for before the Royal Rumble, it's going to be on the go home show. So you're kind of in a weird spot this past week.
And they're in a weird spot because Raw 30 looks like a pay-per-view.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So let's look at what's before I get to the Jay Briscoe stuff. Let's look at what's coming up on Raw 30 then. So Lashley won the 6-man, which you knew going in. You knew Lashley was winning that. All right.
Yeah.
So you're getting Lashley Theory for the U.S. title. I mean, can we find a way for Theory to retain? Like, that's what I'm hoping for here. We got to find a way for Theory to retain.
Yeah, I think the natural way for Theory to retain is some type of interference by MVP and the and that crew.
Oh, so it's going to be like new Hurt Business and they're against Lashley?
No, they like last week, I think it was on Raw, MVP cost the Hurt Business their tag match.
Yeah.
And there was like dissensions, like, what are you doing? He's like, I was trying to help you.
Yeah.
Maybe they continue this, like MVP's trying to get Hurt Business back together, but he can't get right type of thing.
We got to find a way for Theory to keep the belt.
Yeah, I think at least till Elimination Chamber, right? Because it feels like especially if Roman's going to keep the titles, it feels like Elimination Chamber is going to be for the U.S. title or the IC title, but probably the U.S. title.
Bayley versus Becky in a cage. Yeah, I guess like that'll be fun. Although I thought Becky with the Karen stuff was, and look, we all get the joke. Like Bayley does, like she got a Karen haircut, but I did not think it was Becky's best work. I thought the Karen stuff was a little bit late.
To steal a line from you from last week, Becky Lynch arrives, the crowd goes mild this week.
Yeah,
they were not into Becky Lynch. They weren't excited to see her. They were not feeling her promo.
Yeah,
I'm not sure who told her like calling Bailey a kumquat eater was the way to go for a promo.
It was weird.
But it was just all very strange.
Yeah.
And didn't seem to get over. I mean, at least we're getting a cage match. That's
cool.
Cool.
And we're getting a blow off then. I mean, if they're in a cage, It's the end. This is it.
Feels like it, right?
Has to be. Yeah.
But that segment was a little concerning for like where Becky Lynch's character is headed because the crowd felt dead. And that's rare for a Becky Lynch segment.
I am way into Usos Judgment Day for the Raw tag title. I like you get the badass heels versus badass heels. You don't get that very often in pro wrestling. Badass heel factions going up against each other, you know, and this is what you have here. It's rare. Or is it Priest and Dominic? Is that what we're getting?
Yeah.
Okay, so Priest and Dominic. Yeah, Usos versus Judgment Day for the. And you asked this question last week, and we did not have the answer. We do now. It's for the Raw tag team titles
because they're doing the tag tournament on SmackDown for the SmackDown titles.
Good. Is it possible? Can they take the Raw titles off the Usos?
I was talking about this with my brother earlier, and it's like I'm, you know, we talk all this time about what's going to happen with Roman at Mania. I'm actually genuinely interested in what's going to happen with the Usos here. Like, who deserves to take the titles off these guys? Because I'm gonna be honest, like, I don't think Judgment Day should be the ones, and I definitely don't think it should be the Banger Bros on SmackDown. Like, I don't think a thrown together tag team after a month should take the titles off these guys. So I don't know where they're headed. Could I see it happening in WWE? Yeah, sure. But I just don't think they should. I love Judgment Day, so I wouldn't mind seeing it.
Like you said, we got a bloodline acknowledgement ceremony. We know shit's going to hit the fan. Very good. And so who's this we have for that are confirmed alumni that are going to be there?
So first off, on the acknowledgement ceremony, from what I've read, Fatu or Samu and Fatu, who is Rikishi, will be there. So the head shrinkers.
Okay.
They're the only confirmed.
Okay.
But there will be, I'm assuming there will be others.
I mean, are people going to be saying all day long, like, are we on Rock Watch?
I think people are wondering, will it be The Rock? But here's what I've been thinking about. So what I thought was arguably the best part. So there was two parts of the Bloodline Judgment Day showdown that we had on Raw that were great.
Okay. One
was Dominic Mysterio saying to the Usos of all people, you wouldn't last in the cell I was in. Because with the Usos past,
it really needs to be every single week. There's a joke. There's Dominic talking about how hard he is from his time in prison. It's got to be a weekly thing. But
then also Rhea,
I love that he's got the bandana now. He's dressed like an essay. I love it.
Yeah, it's so good. And also, but Jimmy's whole thing where he was like "Vato Loco forever, bro." Like he did that whole thing to Dominic. That whole back and forth was great.
Mm-hmm.
But Rhea getting in Solo's face,
that was cool.
Was
awesome. That was cool.
So here's what I'm wondering: will the Judgment Day interrupt the Bloodline acknowledgement ceremony? And will we get a female member of the Bloodline? Because there are options here.
The first option that comes to mind is Naomi, right?
That's that's one.
It's funny, like they do the whole, WWE is confident Naomi's going to be returning. So I gotta be honest, like I can totally live without Naomi. She's not a big deal to me.
Yeah, I don't know. Rumble would be the perfect time for her to come back too, because she always is good for a cool
but they do. Yeah, they do the bullshit with the not landing outside, which I'm very over. I'm very over it.
By the way, I mean we'll talk about this in our Rumble preview, but like NXT's got one. Soul, I don't know. There's this chick Soul Ruka. I don't know if that's. She could be that Rumble spot. She's a freak.
Well, I saw she did it during the Battle Royal they had a couple weeks ago.
And her finishing move, like she just does some crazy athletic stuff. So they could just put her in the Rumble. Well, there's only 6 people. Someone's got to be in it.
Yeah, nobody wants to be in this Women's Royal Rumble. It's a shame.
Now, here's the other one. There's 3. I have 3 options here. Okay. So there's a little bit of big dirt, not big dirt for you right here, just in the middle of the show. So Naomi's one. Yeah. You don't seem excited about that. Nia Jax.
Yeah, I would really dig it being Nia Jax, not because I like her, but because she's so easy to hate. So I would dig it being Nia Jax. Now fit. I mean, I'm trying to.
Now think. Here's the one that is the long shot of all long shots, but because they said every generation of the Bloodline will be there, Ava Raine. who is The Rock's daughter, who's in NXT.
Yeah, but they made no reference to her being a part of the Samoan family, right?
No, but they also, her little crew that she's on with in NXT, I don't think they've been on TV. Yeah, Schism. I don't think they've been on TV for like a month. She's also never wrestled a match in NXT, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, is that right?
But how natural, if they're going to bring back The Rock, you bring back The Rock's daughter as part of the bloodline, then The Rock comes.
You can't have never wrestled a match at NXT and now you're in the bloodline.
Facing Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, can't do it. And who else you got then?
No, that's it. Those are the three. I mean, who else would make sense to be in the
Very
bloodline? Good. Who else would be? I mean, there's no one else. I mean, Tamina, I guess.
Please give me a break.
Actually, I don't know if she's part of the family, so that was.
I got to turn the television.
I think I was being a little racist there, but I don't know if she's actually part of the family.
I think yes, she is, because remember she made her debut. Whether she really is,
they were debuted together, but I don't know if they're
with the Usos. So storyline wise, she's part of the family.
But then, Zaz, can I ask you, like, are we ever going to get a Rhea feud? Like, she's been in the. Right. By the way, I went back and looked. She's been in Judgment Day since May of last year. She has not had a feud with a. Well, remember,
she was hurt for a while, so she was out for a little while, and Judgment Day kind of stalled. I don't know that she needs anything right now because her story is Dominic. That's the story. She doesn't need to have a feud with anyone right now.
Can have both.
I mean, she could, but it's like, why do you need to expedite that whole? We could stretch this baby out. Yeah,
but that's true. But like Dominic's story is that he has Rhea, but he's still wrestling for the tag titles.
No, but Dominic's story is all we know is still mixing in the race stuff and building to that. Like Dominic's
but that's my point, though. It's like, so Dominic's got the tag titles. Dominic's got the Rhea relationship. Dominic's got Ray, and Rhea's just got Dominic.
No, but like, do you actually think to yourself, like, wow, they got Rhea doing nothing? I don't think they got Rhea doing nothing.
They don't ever. I mean, yes and no. I mean, no. It's it's not nothing, but it's.
I think she's one of the stars of that show every week.
She's a glorified manager at this point,
right? But you know how good you have to be one of the stars of the show every week, and like you said, you don't really have a real feud going on.
Well, she's in the Rumble. She's one of the 6. Yeah. So she's got that.
And I know people are going to pick her to win it. If you haven't listened, It's Still Real to Me recently. It'd be cool if Rhea won it. I think Beth Phoenix returns and eliminates her.
Okay. But then, you know what? I'm okay with that. You know why? Because that means she's got a feud. And she's got a story. Yeah,
I think that's
that's her Mania match, right?
Yes.
That would be okay. Yes. Good. You know what? I'm all for it. If that means Rhea's going to like start wrestling meaningful matches, like at some point that's got to happen.
It really is one or two things. Either she's winning the Royal Rumble or Beth Phoenix is returning and eliminating her. It's one of those two. That's happening.
Yeah, it feels that way. Although she has teased, or they have teased on WWE programming over the last few months, she's had run-ins with Bianca and Becky. So they have sort of teased those as possibilities, but none of it's come to fruition. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
Let's do and the guys who are returning, the alumni, so what do we know?
As of right now, we got Taker, and the rumor is that because there's been like some promotional stuff that's been out, and on the promotional stuff, apparently it's been American Badass Taker. So we might be getting American Badass Taker.
Okay.
Hogan is confirmed.
Wow. I don't think Hogan has been on WWE TV since WrestleMania 37, which I went to in Tampa. That was the first show first show sans COVID, and he got booed out the building.
Yeah. Flair is confirmed.
Oh, Flair's doing anything for money. Come on.
Yeah. DX.
Okay.
Other than Daddy Ass.
All right.
And the Bellas.
Okay.
Lawler.
Wow, good pull, Jerry Lawler. That's a good get.
Yeah. I think those are the confirmed ones. I saw like Brock might be showing up.
Oh, so maybe there's an alumni.
I know, but you'll love this. It's probably going to be how they spoil his surprise entry into the Rumble. They'll probably bring him back to say, I'm coming, I'm joining, I'm in the Rumble. Right? I mean, that's the only reason to bring him back. You're trying
to get me going with the Cody stuff.
I know I'm trying to get you going because I know you're fired up about that.
All right, well, let's get the Jay Briscoe stuff done first, and then we'll get back to the Cody stuff, which I am annoyed about. So I know enough about the Briscoes. Certainly their feud recently with FTR. So I know enough about the Briscoes to know how important he is to tag team wrestling, and I just. Brutal situation, man. So Do we have any more details? He dies in a car accident. The last I've read, I'm trying not to read too much about it because you really don't know with the dirt sheets what's what. But his daughters, they were hurt, but I think they're in stable condition. Like, are they going to be okay?
There was someone tweeted that his one of his daughters regained like movement in her lower extremities.
Jesus.
So which is obviously great, good news.
Yeah,
but they're in pretty bad. It was yeah. I mean,
like, was he thrown from the vehicle? Do we know details?
I just honestly, I didn't really look too much into the details.
I didn't either.
I don't, car crash. I heard it was a car crash. I heard,
but we're not talking. Obviously, we're not talking DUI or anything like that. If his kids are in the car, right?
Yeah, no, I don't. No, it didn't. It doesn't sound that way. I think that would have probably come out pretty quickly.
Okay, good.
But yeah, I didn't dig too deep into it because once I found out like what happened, I was just like, what do I need to know? Like,
right, me too.
Like, if it's something bad, like on his part, I'm gonna find out about it. Like, I don't have to seek that out. Like, if he, like you said, DUI or under the influence or something, or the other person was drunk and hit that. Like, man. if that came out, that's gonna be all over Twitter. I don't need to seek it out. So if you're seeking it out at that point, you just want to see like gory details for the sake of seeing gory details. So yeah,
and everyone loved this guy, huh? Like, everyone, just the outpouring of emotion.
Yeah, look, I'm not gonna act like I followed their entire career.
Yeah.
But I've watched enough.
Yeah,
like I have watched a lot of Briscoe matches, and I've gone out. I never actively watched Ring of Honor. Didn't care, but I have gone out of my way many times to watch Briscoe matches because they're awesome. And yeah, I mean, look, if you want to put into context his importance to wrestling, or the Briscoe's importance to wrestling, just look at how many people wouldn't be as relevant or part of professional wrestling if it wasn't for Ring of Honor. We're talking Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, Samoa Joe, Adam Cole, the Young Bucks, Cody Rhodes after he left WWE. AEW maybe is not a company without Ring of Honor, right?
Kevin Owens,
Sami Zayn as El Generico, right? Like, these guys all came up in some part in Ring of Honor, became stars in Ring of Honor. The Briscoes were in Ring of Honor day one, and Jay Briscoe passed away as Ring of Honor tag champion. That's how important he was to that company and wrestling. I mean, you could just see it. Look, Michael Cole started SmackDown by saying, so by the way, I don't know if you thought this. I think last night's SmackDown was a tribute in itself to Jay Briscoe.
Good question. I don't know the answer. It's a good question.
But here's why. So obviously Michael Cole said,
yeah, I know where you're going.
Michael Cole referenced, the passing, and, we're sending our thoughts and prayers to his family, and
they wouldn't have done this if Vince was still in charge, right?
Right.
So stupid.
No.
That's so stupid.
But then he also said tonight is all about tag team wrestling. And they had the whole first round of the tag team tournament. The only wrestling on TV last night was tag team wrestling. And it seemed like a subtle
you got to figure it is. You got to figure it is.
It seemed like, and just the way he said tonight is all about tag team wrestling, it made me feel like, you know what?
You got to figure it is.
And then I know we'll get into that. It made me think like AEW can do that. And I know there's more to that story, but anyways, he was, man, it sucked. It was just it's shitty, and it makes you think about everything because what was he, 38, I think?
Yeah.
Young. And think about that too.
And then it made me upset too in the middle of the week where it was circulating around this video from during the lockdown during COVID where he was practicing with his daughter, her cheerleading dance routine. And he's there, wearing, he's wearing a bandana or whatever, or, something part of the outfit with her, and he learned the routine and he's practicing with her. I'm like, this is, I mean, what a freaking tragedy, man.
Yeah. And I know, like, if people were to, for the people who don't know Jay Briscoe, I was actually thinking about this, and I know this is a dark way to think. Okay. But if you want to put his importance to indie wrestling, right, in context, Ring of Honor, indie wrestling, that whole genre, Jay Briscoe passing away would be like, if you were looking for a current WWE equivalent, would be like Kofi, right? In terms of like former world champion, and part of the best tag team ever, arguably, right? Like that is what he was to that company and sort of the indies in general. Like, and he was active and he was still going to be on Ring of Honor TV. He's a current champion. And you saw it. You saw how many people, Twitter messages, armbands, just on WWE programming. Kevin Owens had a J armband last night. So yeah, man, shitty. Just awful, man. Just a really bad situation.